Hi everyone, thanks for tuning into another episode of OPES. If you're new here, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe, and ring the bell so you don't miss out on any of our awesome content. And if you want to support the channel even more, be sure to check out our Patreon for extra episodes and exclusive content. Links in the description. Thanks for listening and let's jump in, baby. Valentine's Day. Day for chocolates, flowers, and romance. Or to the single people, a reminder of lack of romance, a lack of chocolate, flowers, that kind of thing. But what about love for your fellow man? Can you remember the last time you had just a genuine human interaction? Maybe felt some love via a nice spontaneous compliment or just a real crisp high five from a stranger. Well, Cupid was busy this week, so I'm filling in as your love guru. Name's Tristan, and welcome to another loving, caring episode of Ordinary People, Extraordinary Stories. And today's episode is going to continue that spirit of Valentine's Day as we talk all about the love languages with my friend, Mr. Paul Zolman. See, like many others, Paul was missing some love in this world. And not just romantic love, but love in the sense of caring for his fellow man. Like seeing the good in people, rather than looking for the flaws. And it was this desire to love others which led him to create a little game, if you will, called the Role of Love, spelled R-O-L-E, a program application where you can spread a love language to anyone and everyone you meet. It's a 6-sided dice with all 5 love languages on it: words of affirmation, quality time, gifts, acts of service, and physical touch, with a 6th side being entirely up to you. Again, I want to reassure that this is not just for romantic partners, this is for others who want to see the good in the world, to fill up that karmic bank, if you will, really pay this love forward to others. And it is this loving, generous attitude that Paul has led him to give us, my listeners, a coupon for this Dyson program. If you use the coupon code LOVE10 to his website listed in the description of this episode, you can get 10% off any order from his website. That's the dice, the program, the journal, the works. Thank you again, Paul, for sharing your generosity. With that being said, let's knock out this intro. So, if you're ready, we're going to grab those rose-colored glasses and some of those heart-shaped antacids with the sayings on them, and we're going to feel the love as we get all lovey-dovey with another ordinary person with an extraordinary story.
You know what time it is. Welcome back. It's 2025, and now you're here with the greatest. That's right. Ordinary people, extraordinary stories. With your host Trishy and Shrew. Ordinary people, extraordinary stories. Welcome to the show. Now your mind gets to blowing. Trishy got the gas, Shrunky got the flowing. Take you back to school for the facts you wasn't knowing. This ain't your normal pod, just a simple act of God, just a congregation of brilliance in a world of facades. Interviews with peoples of all different walks. Comedy, intelligence, and using every talk. Ordinary people, extraordinary stories. Ordinary people, extraordinary stories.
They've calmed down, but I have feral children in my apartment. It just rained, so they're having super fun, just jumping up and down and getting wet and soggy and screaming. So hopefully we don't hear any screaming in the background. Do you hear any screaming in the background?
I don't hear a thing.
Okay, excellent. That soundproof basement really, it works, bud. It works. How you doing? How's your day, night going?
Doing great. Yeah, it's been a good day. I usually start the day, Tristan, at 5 a.m. I get up, and by 6 a.m. I'm out on the pickleball court.
Dude, early bird gets the worm. And ladies and gentlemen, he's a pickleball athlete, so you know he's got the, but you have like killer calves. I bet they're like really toned, just
My wife doesn't say that.
she should start. I want to ask, so I know the like hype of pickleball. I don't technically know how you play it. Can you describe that to me?
Sure. You know what? It's very similar. It's kind of a cross between table tennis, ping pong, and regular tennis. You use a wiffle ball and kind of half-sized paddles. So the paddles are very about half the size of a tennis racket, larger than a ping pong paddle.
And isn't like a circular disc that goes in the middle of your hand?
No, no, it's not. It's no, there's a handle.
Hmm.
There's a handle on the paddle itself.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, so it actually looks like a paddle. You volley back and forth, and you go to 11. Uh, you start you know how tennis starts. They say love all. Well, I've started it. Mostly people say 0-0 start. So you say your score, their score, and then whatever server number you are.
Interesting. So, okay. So I'm ahead by two. I'll say 2-0, and then start when we're starting the thing, or
Right,
okay.
exactly. Yeah,
Interesting.
very, very good. You count on quickly to that. Most people have a hard time with the score, but that's basically the score. And you go to 11, you have to win by two. And and it's
Okay.
just you're just hitting it back and forth. And they have what they call as a kitchen area. It's come probably about 3 feet from the net that you can't step into that kitchen area and slam it out of the air.
So you stay in strictly just the boxes that you're assigned to. So you can't.
Exactly.
Okay. All
Yeah.
right. It
Yeah.
does help that I have a picture, and I mean, hopefully people listening to this will. I might put like a little video clip here, just like this is the field or whatever. But no, it reminds me of tennis, of course, but
Mhm.
almost like dodgeball with paddles. Do you remember dodgeball?
I do remember about
Yeah,
dodgeball.
essentially just you bounce it and try to get it in a weird spot where they can't bounce it back. And I mean, I can see the difficulty if you're like you gotta be flexible, you gotta go for it, but then not hit it too hard that it bounces out of the kitchen.
Well, it can hit, and if they miss it, so you're the whole object of it is trying to hit it where they're not, or hit it where they can't reach the ball, and
Right.
then you score a point. Only the serving team is the team that can score.
Wait, wait, then how does I guess it's switched then? How does the other person like do they have to score on themselves to technically serve
So
start or
so if the service team misses the ball, then it's side out. So it would be the other team's opportunity to serve and then score.
and you do that till for 5 hours?
No, no, I do it just for an hour, hour and a half,
Okay, I was like, brother,
every
you training
every
for a
morning.
marathon?
No, no,
Like,
no. No, 1 hour Monday through Friday.
I don't mean to, you never ask a woman their weight or their age. I'm pretty sure you shouldn't ask men either. Can I ask how old you are?
I'm 65.
I've heard just like this sport kind of erupting for like your demographic. Like a lot of people because it's easy and like it's not super demanding, but I mean it's you're gonna put a workout in. You're gonna be moving. You're gonna be, like active.
Yeah, in an hour I can, I track steps on my phone and I keep it in my pocket while I'm playing, and I can put it on about 5,000 steps in an hour.
Heck yeah. I just, man, especially because I work inside all day, there's like something about playing outside. I mean, I don't mean to like belittle your sport, but like it's work, but it's fun, right? And I
It
mean,
is fun. Yeah.
you're staying healthy, and I live in Portland, Oregon, so it just started raining, and this is the we're staying inside season coming up, so I have to. I'm just, oh God, I'm having Vietnam flashbacks. I'm just thinking about like, oh man, it's gonna be so gray. In Colorado, do you guys have, it's called seasonal affective disorder. I don't know if you like mess with that kind of stuff, but like, do you know what that is?
It affects me more for allergies in the spring and then the fall.
Mm,
The disorder itself, people have a hard time adjusting to the season, and mostly for me, it's allergies.
okay, that's interesting.
I live in the southern part of Utah. Actually, I'm just 2 hours north of Las Vegas in St. George, Utah.
And it's
Zion
probably gorgeous there. So, I
Zion's
mean,
National Park. Yeah, when it rains, all the red rock is just stunning, absolutely stunning.
man, you're painting a picture. Well, that's kind of I'm only mentioning this though because like I want to play. There's probably indoor pickleball, but
Hmm.
there's just something about because you go outside obviously, right? And you're playing this on like a court. Like,
Right. We play outside during the summer, and that's why we're getting up so early. Just it's nice and cool in the mornings. We
heck
don't want
yeah.
to play when it's 105 degrees outside.
That sounds like a
So
punishment. That sounds like death
yeah,
torture.
yeah,
Like
yeah.
pickleball becomes death ball.
We don't do that. Yeah.
Yeah. There's barbed wire around the handles. There's, it's a live grenade. It's hardcore. Well, hi everybody. Welcome to another episode of Ordinary People, Extraordinary Stories, where we talk about pickleball and seasonal affective disorder. I'm your host, Tristan, and you're meeting my friend Paul. Say hi, Paul.
Hey Tristan, how are you today? Thanks for having me on your show.
I'm excellent. So, can I say your last name or do you just prefer Paul?
You can say my last name.
Paul Zolman, everybody. So, you guys already know about Podmatch. I've told you guys before, it's that service I use where I get kind of guests like hit me up, I can hit other people up, and we linked, right? Like you were like, "Hey, your show looks good. Can I be a part of it?" Was that you or did I message you?
I think I messaged you first.
Well, thank you, making me feel so pretty and important. Guys, you don't even know, like, was it what, 6 months? Or there was like a good almost an entire year where you were the number one guest on Podmatch.
It was quite some time. My very first month was July of last year, and I think by not even knowing what I was doing, I came in like the 8th or the 10th of the month. I still came up in at number 6 in that
Yeah.
first month, and then August, September, October, November, all number ones. December, January went down to still in the top 10, and then it's just dropped off. The reason it's dropped off, Tristan, is because I actually ran out of matches.
That's so funny. Oh man. And nobody's hitting you up for a sequel episode? Someone's like, "Hey brother, I'd love to have you again," or
Actually, you know what? I have had sequels like that, but it's not recorded on Podmatch as such.
dang, shame.
So it's interesting that it's just the first episode is recorded, and then subsequent episodes. I don't know that it counts on the counter that they've
Hmm.
got on Podmatch.
Interesting. Because I kind of wonder if someone could constantly stay on top for like the remainder. But yeah, if you're going through everybody, like I could. Well, I guess what I'm saying, guys, is I got a celebrity here. The fact is that he is like, he's popular for a reason. And of all things, you messaged me. I was looking at you, I think when I stopped, because I took a break from Podmatch about 6 months ago. I was just having too many guests, but you were on there, and I it's funny. When you first see somebody, a new face, you kind of have like first impressions. And I got youth pastor vibe, or like I was just like, okay, there's something going on here. And no, don't even remotely do that. He has this application, this new application of the five love languages called Roll of Love. And you know what? I'm gonna stop talking and just would you mind explaining exactly what Roll of Love is to my guests?
Absolutely, Tristan. Thank you. Roll of Love is actually a dice that I made, or a cube, because the singular is die. Most people don't. When I say die, they think of death. It's not like that. So I named it a cube.
Or the
So
in German.
so
I think
yeah,
that.
yeah. There you go. So on each side of the cube, I've got the love languages. I'm showing right now, showing Tristan two hands that are holding each other. That looks like they're holding hands. That would be touch. Next, I've got a hand holding a gift. That would be gifts.
Hmm.
A hand holding a hourglass. That represents time. Two hands put together, creating a heart. Very, very popular thing to do these days. But this heart's a little bit different. Has a little conversation fly out. So those would be the words from the heart.
Oh, okay. Affirmations. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, the words of affirmation. And then the last one, it looks like a waiter holding a platter, be the icon for service. Six sides on the cube. The last side I created is a hand holding a question mark. So there's just two instructions, Tristan. You roll the dice every day. Whatever it lands on, that is the love language you practice giving away all day that day, all day to everybody. Dr. Chapman's book, The Five Love Languages, was more for romantic relationships. This actually is for everybody. When I when I created this, I was single and I had a problem of being critical of other people. I would always focus on what's wrong with them. Why do they do it that way? And thinking I had the ability and the authority to manage their life for them, to make their choices for them. Wrong. Well, I grew up thinking that there were no boundaries when I grew up. So I always thought that I could be critical of other people because that's what my dad did. That's what my mom did. That's what my siblings
But
did.
everybody does.
Everybody did it. So it's a generational thing that was passed down that we have the authority to be critical of other people. I realized midlife that I want to get rid of that. I want to stop that false tradition of my fathers, my forefathers, and start a new tradition. I realized I was focusing on the wrong things of people, and maybe it's 10%, maybe it's 20% of their personality. I was missing, Tristan, the 80 to 90% of that person that was good. So how my problem was, how do I switch that? And I just had the inspiration to look at the color code and then the five love languages. And I really liked the principles of the five love languages, but the applications that Dr. Chapman didn't work for me. So I contacted Dr. Chapman and asked him, are you licensing those little icons that you have for each one of the love languages? And after a couple of weeks, his attorney wrote back and said, no, we're not doing that at this time. I said, good, thank heaven. They're 30 years old. I mean, the icons look like that it looked like they were very dated.
Old. Yeah, exactly.
And I wanted to create my own anyway. So after that rejection from the attorney, Dr. Chapman's attorney, I had an attorney in my neighborhood that was a friend, and I thought I'd just run it by him. The idea that I had, growing up as dysfunctional as our family was, and it was very dysfunctional, as dysfunctional as it was, we still played games. And when we played games, we were together. There were still the put downs and all the talking over one another. There
Yeah,
was all that.
Monopoly,
Yeah,
Battleship, that kind of stuff. But you guys were together.
but we were together. So I thought this might be something that would help me just figure out how to get my life together and start looking at what's right about people instead of what's wrong with them, focusing on the good parts of people. I'd gone through a couple divorces by that time. And with that, I thought, maybe there's something I need to change. And so this was one of those things that I thought I need to see if I can't communicate a little bit better about what's right with people, complimenting them rather than criticizing them.
Just being kinder, that kind of thing.
Just,
Just
absolutely being kinder.
more accepting, loving.
Yeah, absolutely. So being single, the Dr. Chapman book didn't work for me because he would say, find out what the love language of your significant other is and then cater to that. And he's calling it love. I found problems with that if you did that with someone that you loved, now they've got an expectation, they have an expectation, and then now you have a duty.
Yeah. And then that's not love. That's not an act of service. That is a
Absolutely. Yeah.
contract. That
It's
is
it's a transaction is what I
exactly.
call it. Yeah, absolutely. Tristan. So that transaction uh, was just it just didn't define love to me. But what I found out since I was single, I said, Dr. Chapman, I don't have a significant other to do this with. Who in the heck am I supposed to love? So I'm looking around. I said, oh, I get to love everybody. And Tristan, it was it's magical for me because I needed that consistency to change that habit from generations back, something that was passed on. It was learned and it was taught to me uh, either overtly or covertly. It was taught to me as a child
Yeah.
and it was ingrained in me. How do I uproot something like that and change your mindset, change your whole attitude?
Well,
So
expensive therapy, but we got the
yeah,
next best thing.
exactly. So I had an inspiration one day as I must have been playing a game, but I don't remember the exact time I had the inspiration. I said, well, I'll just do the artwork and put it on a dice. So what I did was I created it on a 2.5 inch by 2.5 inch block of wood.
Okay. There's a prototype. I love it.
Yeah, so this is the prototype. So, but on the prototype, there's issues with it. You can see they've got on here, they've sharp edges. So when it would go, when I tried to roll it, it would go thunk, thunk, two thunks, and then I knew what it was going to be. So I
Mm.
could turn it two thunks and then turn it back and then roll it and know exactly what I was going to roll. It was kind of hokey that way. I could know exactly what I was going to roll that particular day. As you keep rolling it though, then the sharp edges is
Kind of
started
get,
wearing off. I
yeah.
realized, Tristan, that I was the one that had the sharp edges. I was the
Mm.
one that needed to be rounded and become more well-rounded. And then as I work through those prototypes, while I'm working on the artwork for the cube itself, I was working with that prototype, trying to become a better person through rolling the die every single day,
Smooth dice.
practicing it every single day. And that habit of setting that purpose, of setting that tone for the whole day, and set it for love. I'm going to find what's right about that person. I'm going to find what there is to love about that person. I realized, Tristan, I can't look the other way. I forgot to be annoyed, and have that flash of anger about that other person.
You just
And
putting good
it,
on too many people. Of course you can't think about this because you're giving the good juju, the love out. And that's it sounds refreshing. I will tell you, I can't remember the last time I wanted to love everybody. Most of them I'm mildly annoyed and I'm just like, you're taking up space on the bus. But you added this thing that like it and it's a wall knockdowner. You're just but if emotionally and I mean, dude, I only have so many questions. I'll compliment you. It's brilliant you put it on a dice. I mean, people like rolling dice, whether you're gambling or playing a game, rolling a dice is fun. And now you have purpose. It's brilliant, I will say. So
thank you.
let me ask you this. While you were doing it, did so many questions. I'm just going to start with the semi-negative. Did you ever have days when it didn't work? Or I can only imagine acts of physical touch. How do you touch a stranger without being creepy?
That's a great question. And there's a lot of ways to do that. You can do high fives, you can do fist bumps, you can do that sort of thing. If you want to build a relationship with that individual, you can create a special handshake that is, acceptable physical touch. Just create a 10-step handshake or something like that that is only personal with you and that person. It's really becomes an intimate thing with you and that person, but it doesn't even touch intimacy in any other way, in a sexual way that you might think. But you can do that. AT&T long time ago used to have a slogan that they said, reach out and touch someone. They were talking about long distance, and you don't probably, I don't know if you're old enough, Tristan, to know anything about long distance,
Are you talking
but
about cordless phones when dinosaurs roamed the earth?
the phones were on the wall, Tristan.
Oh my God.
Yeah, they
The
were on the wall. So it actually costs extra money to call long distance. But the AT&T had the slogan that do this because you want to
don't
reach
touch
out and touch
someone.
someone. So when you touch someone, it can be to the heart, and it could be words that touch them. It could be a lot of different ways that touch them. Touch is one of those ways that you can send it out. Maybe it's going to be a note. Maybe you send a note snail mail to them or an email or a text to them, anything like that. You can touch their heart in a certain way. What you're trying to do is touch their heart. So as you're rolling the die every single day, Tristan, what you're watching for is we're watching for people that light up. When they light up, you've solved the problem. You've discovered what their primary or secondary love language is. No longer do you have to say, excuse me, can we pause this relationship for just a moment while I have you take this survey so I know how to love you? So awkward. You don't have to do that anymore. Just use your observation skills to watch how they react. And for that person, when they light up, just take a mental note. And for that person, wash, rinse, repeat. Do it again and again for that person. That's what they
Okay.
respond to. That's what they like.
Interesting. And I mean, like when the moment you said high five handshake, so the kids call it dapping. I'm thinking it's either dapping you up, but it's like, okay, I'll show you. So like your hand, instead of just like a handshake, we basically lock in, like, hey, how's it going? Like that with our thumbs. We slide, and then some people snap, but like when you connect it, it's like have you seen Predator with Arnold Schwarzenegger when he does you son of a bitch, and he gets that perfect hand slap? There's something. magical. I want to say primal, but it's just like when you and your boy or a
Mhm.
friend or anybody, just that perfect energy, that kinetic vibe where you're just like your muscles are flaring, you're just like, I got my boy right here. It yeah, I'm smiling already. You have made my day. And physical touch happens to be one of my love language. So just
There you go.
okay, it works. Well, okay, let's go back to the question. So I mean, this is brilliant how you thought and created it. And I can imagine this probably took some days and weeks to refine, but what did it look like implementing daily? And can you tell me maybe a day where you maybe initiated a love language and they were like, bro, that is not for me, or it was embarrassing or cringy?
Great question, Tristan. I don't really know of any cringy days like that because you're actually using your observation skills and watching for those opportunities. You're not watching for opportunities to be creepy. You're watching for opportunities to compliment them or find something there is to love about them. Talk about it. Talk about it. And while you're talking about it, you can say, I think that you must like gifts, or you can talk about the love language, or you can just do it, and just doing it is kind of what the whole idea is about, is just randomly doing it, random acts of kindness, just watching all day long for those opportunities, and they'll be there if you're watching for it. What I found, Tristan, is that I was watching for what's wrong with people, always watching for their mistakes. Everybody makes them,
Yeah.
so I was always seeing that. When you start watching for what's right with people and start talking about that, sometimes you identify for them things that they never thought they had that particular quality. You identify for them, help them identify who they are. And when that happens, you've made their day. And when you make their day, they feel great. You're on a pedestal in their eyes, and you also get paid at that moment in time. But that's not what you're doing this for. You're sending it out without any expectation of it ever coming back, but trusting the laws of the universe that were in place before you or I were ever born. The
Mm,
laws like the law of harvest or karma or the law of attraction, they all kind of say the same thing, that whatever you send out is coming back to you someday. It may not, it could be right away. If you send out an insult, you might get an insult right back.
blood for blood. Yeah, that kind of
And your payday is right there.
yeah, it's a golden rule, treat others how you want to be treated. But I mean, that's again, yeah, I don't know, just the feeling of I know, come on, everybody. Everybody listening or watching, whatever platform we're using, thanks again for supporting the channel. Do you remember the last day when like it just again somebody, whether it was a stranger or a coworker, just kind of made your day, just kind of got you smiling, just like cheesing. The kids would say cheesing. That's but you're just smiling for no reason and you feel great. And it's no, okay. It's I don't know. I told you when we are off the call, I'm on it. I'm going after it. I guess what is an average that's probably even a weird question because there's probably not an average customer, but why would somebody want to buy this? I know why, obviously, but I mean, what can this do for people who would like, hey, you should try this. This could benefit like your life. Like I don't know. They kind of understand my question. Like I know what I want to say, but I think I'm also saying it incorrectly.
So it's a great question, Tristan. Why would they buy it? And I think that what we're looking for and what this works with is people like I was. I wanted the change. If you don't want the change, this isn't going to work for you. And so on those days that you might say, well, I'm kind of tired of loving people. I want to be crabby today. Why would you choose to be crabby? Because guess what? Just like you were talking about a minute ago, whatever you send out is coming right back to you. You send it out, they're going to be crabby right back to you. Is that what you want? Really? Is that what you want? Build that bank account, so to speak. Send it out and don't worry about it. Just put it out there, and just be amazed when it comes back. Be amazed and be happy when it comes back. It's not going to come back all at once, and it's not going to come back. Most likely, it won't come back right away, but you'll have those days that you don't want to send it out. You just want to sit on your chair in your house and be lonely, and that's okay. But I'm telling you, the best thing to do, and the reason people would buy this is they're the people that want to get up out of their chair, walk out of their house, walk through the neighborhood. They're going to find someone that's a little bit lower than they are. When you lift them up, they're going to be happy and you're going to be happy at the same time. We're talking about decency. This dice, by rolling the dice, we're looking at people that deserve or are worthy of being loved. It doesn't mean that we're choosing one political party over another. It doesn't mean we're choosing one gender over another. It doesn't mean we're choosing a race over another. In fact, Tristan, it erases all of that.
It does.
It
It's just
absolutely erases it. This is a decency of humankind. We send out love. That's who we are. And it's all about our character. What I really found out about this, Tristan, is that this helped me build those boundaries, healthy boundaries, that I'm not in charge of choices that another person makes. I can possibly influence it. Maybe you could try it this way. I can possibly ask for permission to influence. If they don't grant the permission, you stay in your lane. You don't jump over there and do it for them. You stay in your lane. It's just like you're driving. If you cross over into somebody's lane and somebody's there and they're wanting to drive right there,
you're gonna hit them.
you're gonna have an accident, and it's not gonna be pretty. We don't want any of that emotionally either. We don't want those emotional accidents. So be aware of what their lane is and what they're doing. Ask for permission if you're going to give advice.
It's the
Ask.
opportunity you're talking about. Just be on the lookout for it, though. And it's kind
Absolutely.
of, it's again, it's not, you're not, okay, I'm going to jump as soon. It's like like you said, the universe just sometimes gives you tiny opportunities. I remember I was walking out of a grocery store and there was a guy holding his heavy plastic water bottle, like packs. And my heart was saying, dude, ask if he needs help. Just like, just this, do that one thing. And I'll be honest, I chickened. I did not go there, but he looked like he was struggling, and I don't know, man. It's the reason why I had you on here is because like this product is I'm not belittling this. This product is so simple, and yet the karmic change and energy you can just like again just be just a ripple in a pond that can lead to the ocean of just positivity. It's great. Like I love this because gosh, I mean, especially with the elections going on, I'm seeing the divisive posts again. I'm just like, guys, come on. We were just cool a couple of months ago. It's the summer. Come on. Oh man, I don't know. I think people could use it. I mean, everyone listening, yeah, it's like, I mean, that's the whole reason why I put this podcast together was because I wanted to connect with people. I wanted to lift people up, hear their stories, and I don't know. It like you said, you looked at 10, 20% of the negative people's lives, and you're like, I'm ignoring the 80% positive. That's love of that
Mhm.
acceptance of that and seeing past flaws. It's just we could use some more love here. Like just straight up. Like that might be the title of this episode. We could use some more love.
There you go. I like that title.
What did you say was like backing the bank or pumping the bank? Building your bank account or building the bank account, is that it? Maybe?
Making a deposit.
Oh,
Yeah,
you said something awesome, and I was like, "Oh, dude, that's the episode. That's the episode title right there."
you'll
I'll,
find it. Yeah.
yeah, exactly. On a side note, if you can see the chat, this is what a DAP is. If you haven't done it, you should do it with somebody in the pickleball tournament. You'll get like a gajillion cool points if you do something along this lines.
Oh, very cool.
It's so fast and so smooth, don't even know it, but you just look ice clean when it happens. I'm showing him a DAP, everybody.
I like it.
I'm teaching you memes. Beautiful, beautiful. Well, I'm even trying to think about where to even go from here because I mean I've been complimenting plenty enough though. I mean, I think you said that this application, I've noticed it comes with a book though. So I mean, is this maybe like a study where it's like, hey, just try this a couple weeks? Is it instructions? What more does I guess your website or product offer?
So the book is called Roll of Love.
You get it, guys? Roll. It's a dice roll, but it's spelled like ROLE, like role playing, but it's clever. That's what I say.
Yeah, so the reason I put that play on words, Tristan, is I could because it's a dice, and an ROLL is what happens outside of you. all circumstances are outside of you. ROLE is the change that happens inside you by sending love out every single day. So it's intrinsic in that way that we call it ROLE of love. And that's the website as well, roleoflove.com. But the whole idea is that we're looking for people that want to have that paradigm shift, want to have that mindset shift from they've been trained by the media and trained by everybody around. We all feed on bad news. Quit it. Just quit it.
Yeah,
Stop that and start focusing on what's right in the world. The bad news people think that's all there is. And it's like minority rules now because that's all there is. That's all we hear. 99% of the news is bad news. And even if it's going to be a rainy day like in Portland, the next day it could also be bad news on the weather. Most of the time it's in my area it's sunny. So we do get a little bit of sunshine, a little bit of good news at the end of a new newscast when it's going to be a sunny day and it's going to be mild temperatures. But quit focusing on the bad news. Start focusing on what's right about the world and make that part of your character. That's who
make
you
that
are.
role change your
Yeah.
role, change your lane. I love it. And guys, don't worry, we're gonna put his website up in the description. Actually, let's even just say it. Where can they find your stuff, man? Where can they find your stuff, Paul?
It's on roleoflove.com, ROLE of love.com.
There you go. Role playing, ROLE of love. He's got a book, he's got a journal. I no, this is excellent. I want to ask, so the dice, is that metal or plastic?
It's
Or
acrylic.
I knew okay, it looks guys, it looks clean. It looks
Yeah.
real nice.
Yeah. It's about 1 inch by 1 inch cubed. Yeah. It's just perfect size. It's larger size so you can see it. There are no words on it. So it would work for any nationality, any religion, anybody around the world.
It's just love, guys. It's just if you're trying to pay it forward, you're trying to I think you said I'm gonna say it, build your bank account. Like this is how you do it, man. Build your karmic bank account and just I mean, I will say this. I have been very fortunate. My life was pretty difficult. It still kind of is, but I've been blessed with friends and good people and I like to think, I mean, besides God, that happened because I was kind. I was like, hey, I try to see people as people, and it got guys, it just does something when you can just get out of yourself and make someone's day. And now you can do it as a fun game or just like I don't know, it's fun. You made it interactive. You made like loving like fun. I don't know, put a high score on here or something. Like you love the most today. I don't know, but
Well, it's like a theme park, Tristan. This is the theme of love that you're doing all day that day. And so it's fun, absolutely fun to watch who loves this theme more than anything else in their life. Who's going to light up today? You really won't know if you're interacting with a lot of people. You won't know who's going to light up in a single day. I'll light up 3 to 10 people. It
exactly.
just really depends on the day. But that there's great happiness, great peace, great fun, great just satisfaction.
Can you tell me, sorry for interrupting, but can you tell me maybe a day you were really, I mean, I know you're not trying to self-promote or like kind of self like, oh man, look at me, so great. But I mean, was there a day that this dice kind of like, oh man, I'll never forget this day. This day was just, it was a tiny pebble and it made a huge impact. Or just a very eventful or day you remembered, anything like that?
Tristan, this really isn't quite like that, just because it's all the little things. But what I can tell you is that the problem I had was stacking those annoyances on top of annoyance about what other people were doing that was wrong, stacking until I had a flash of anger. What I found out now is that these little things that you do, just little kind acts, opening the door, carrying a package, doing those little things, just stack, and it gets you to the higher laws of love, like compassion or charity or forgiveness or mercy or intimacy. Tristan, can you imagine trying to be intimate with someone and then just insult, and then you're asking for it? It's not going to happen.
No,
Absolutely not going to
no,
happen.
it's not for very long.
And your relationship will die. Exactly. You don't want that. So what you're trying to do is build these small things that's really not it's not a huge event that's going to happen. You're just all day long sending out these small kindnesses all day. And it's just going to be better day all the way around.
And I kind of understand why you said that versus to my question, because the point isn't not to just have like events that you're like cataloging and memorizing, just like, well, man, look at how amazing this day was because of me. It becomes something where it's like, again, it's a small action that becomes like a reflex where you just naturally just, oh, hey, I see out like there's an opportunity. So like I was just friendly. I helped. I complimented somebody, and I think that's the kind of more important thing is that you do it without thinking. It just
Mm-hmm.
becomes natural. So
I love building good habits. I actually was a missionary for a couple of years over in
I knew it. I called it something. All right, I'm gonna say I count, but
so I was a missionary for a couple of years in Japan, and so I learned Japanese and all that. And as a missionary, you're supposed to write your parents once a week.
hmm,
And I thought, you know what, that's pretty hard. I just still had that problem with my father. He was physically abusive, verbally abusive. He had his kind moments, but mostly they were directed toward other people. He and I just did not connect. He was a diesel mechanic and a truck driver. I hated getting that grease under my fingernails. I hated washing up after it with gas and having that gas smell on my hands. I just could not get away, and I couldn't get away from the smell. I couldn't walk away from it. It was all over me, and I just did not like that situation. So
hmm,
he and I just have these points that we just didn't connect. But I decided to do this, to go ahead and follow the missionary rule that I had to, or the suggestion to write your parents once a week. I did it for 2 years, and at the end of that 2 years, Tristan, I thought to myself, this is a really good habit. Why on God's earth would I break a good habit? Why would I give up a good habit? And anybody can ask that question of themselves.
right.
If you develop a good habit, why would you ever give it up? So I thought, I'm going to keep doing this. And I did it for 32 years. Every week, wherever I was, I sent them a letter. After my father passed away, he passed away pretty early. On his 65th birthday, I kept writing the letter to my mother, and
Hmm.
she lived to be 88 years old. And she, in her 80s, I remember asking her, "Do the letters mean anything?" Because I knew we were developing a great relationship, but I wonder if it meant anything more than that. And she said, "I look forward to it because I go to the mailbox every Thursday expecting that letter to be there."
Hmm.
And she just had that no one else had done that in the whole family. And I looked at it, I'm Christian, Tristan, and I looked at it as this is a great way for me to keep the fifth of the 10 commandments, to honor your father and your mother, that your days will be long upon the land which the Lord God hath given you. I wanted to do that, and I wanted to see if the promise was there for me. And I just thought, why not? And why would I give up that good habit? So for 32 years, until they both had passed away, I wrote letters. I've got over 1,500 letters that I got them all back.
That's
Uh,
really sweet. That's really, really, really sweet.
for me, it's become a journal, but it's developing those good habits like that and keeping the good habits that will bless your life and the lives of other people. It's part of your character. It's part of who you are. And just this is a good habit. How long does it take to roll a die?
Not very difficult.
Less than 2 seconds.
Exactly.
It sets a theme for the day, and then you're off and running. Focus on that theme. And I carry one in my pocket with me in case I forgot what I rolled, but I hardly ever forget what I rolled, or in case I forgot to roll. And there's been a few occasions that I said, what did I roll today? And then I realized, oh, I didn't roll. And then I've got it right there to be able to roll it. So I keep it in my pocket. It's a great conversation piece, great conversation starter. A lot of people know about the love languages, but do they know them all?
Exactly.
This helps you learn all of them over a 30-day period, Tristan. You have given away all 5 love languages. So now you know them backwards and forwards. Now, the best part about that it solves the problem that Dr. Chapman had.
Mm.
He had couples. He was a Baptist pastor, and he had couples coming to him wanting some counseling because the husband was sending love to her, she was sending love to him. They were like ships in the night. They weren't connecting. What this dice does is allows you to learn all 5 love languages, so it closes that communication gap. So now you can see it when it's coming your way, even if it's not your primary love language. Now you can say, oh, they're loving on me. It's not my primary love language, but you can respond to that. There's been many, many times in my life that I've missed love coming my way just because I
Because you're
didn't
being
know.
critical. You're not, again, you don't really know to look out for it if you're not looking for it. You're gonna
Exactly.
experience it though. So can I ask you something? So you wrote your parents for, I mean, that's a lot of letters. I mean, did those letters help maybe break down those barriers or have those hard conversations with your dad or mom? Like, hey, like, did your mom ever be like, yeah, I was kind of shitty growing up, or, I'm sorry I wasn't, you know, so cuddly or hit you too much or
No, it wasn't anything like that, and frankly, I wasn't expecting anything like that. I was doing it mostly out of just trying to see if I could do it at very first. Over the years, what happened for me is that it diminished the negativity of my childhood. It really diminished that because I was trying to focus on what do I like about this person that I'm writing a letter to? What is good about them? And it really changed my whole mindset. And when you've gone through pain like that, somebody's abused you, you're a victim of abuse, you're going to start blaming them. But the better choice, instead of blaming them, is to just allow just time and distance will heal a lot of things for number one, but allow that time and that distance to pass by trying to focus on what is there that you might like about that person. There's a few events of my life that I remember about my father. One of those events is that he dated my mother every single Friday night. Tristan, I don't know of any Friday that he ever missed taking my mother out on a date. He
that's not,
was
it's
so
so romantic. That's so, oh my gosh. I told that to my wife and she's like, she hit with the awe, but like, she's like, that's, bro, you need to do this.
well, exactly. And I've tried to keep up with that pace and I can't do it myself. So there I'm in awe of that part of my father's life. I know he loved women. In fact, I'm sandwiched between two girls. I have an older sister and a younger sister. All the rest are boys. I'm number 10 of 11 children.
Yeah, that's
And so
oof.
so when he went out on this date, Tristan, I imagine I was never there, but imagine that my mother's sitting down with him at the Maverick Bar. It was always the Maverick Bar. No creativity for the date, but it was a date. And he's at the Maverick Bar. They're over alcohol. They're discussing how'd your week go? How'd your week go? And my mother starts probably at the top and starts with the oldest child. And by the time my father's getting annoyed by all these children and what they've been doing wrong. And so by the time they get to number 10, he's ready to have the flash.
Like
And I'm the target. So
you get the
I
rage, this the
so I felt a lot like the target in that way. And it was just something that I could forgive. I could forgive it because he was on a date with my mother. He protected my mother. He was protecting my sisters because if I looked cross-eyed at it, if I made him cry, it's totally unacceptable. And it was just something that he was protecting those two sisters and my mother from anything that I would do. I didn't think I was ever a bad kid. I really didn't.
oh,
And I still don't think I was a bad kid. I didn't do a lot of bad things. I tried to be obedient and try to do what's right. In fact, Tristan, I was so rule oriented because of this, did not want the wrath of my father. So rule oriented that when I was 17, I took a career test. And the
mm.
career test said I would be a great IRS agent because I was a rule enforcer. Absolutely did not want that life. IRS agents were hated. I already was hated in the home. I already just had that. I did not want that. I wanted more love in the home. And I remember when I went to first grade, I absolutely loved my first grade teacher. There was a different feeling there. And
Mm.
I wanted to stay at school. I wanted to learn at school. I wanted to listen at school. And so I did well in school just because it was a totally different environment, a loving environment at school, not so much loving at home.
No, absolutely. It's I guys, I don't know. I told you where I work, right?
I haven't heard, no.
He doesn't know, guys. I work for the IRS.
Oh, that's hilarious.
It's just a call center. I probably shouldn't be saying all this stuff. I might be, but I don't know. But no, it's and man, this is why this dude, this was made to happen. This is how I know this was real. Your application is perfect for me because let's just say I could use a lot of love to give because there's no love in that place. It's metallic, it's metal, it's boring. You get a paper cut looking at the IRS, and I will say people like their days get changed so much when like, oh my gosh, thank you, you've made my day, and it's finding those opportunities, and and you would make a great IRS agent. You would because man, we need love and kindness in that place because there's so much.
So Tristan, I went a different
Oh.
direction, very similar, but accounting, and accounting's all about rules as well, and eventually became a CFO of a public company. So
Okay. I was gonna say, well, that's chief financial. Do you ever do like enrolled agent or was it CPA certified? You ever do any CPA work?
I did not. No,
Okay.
I was a CFO without having those credentials, but I was actually CFO of a public company, so I was had reporting responsibilities to the Securities and Exchange Commission. In fact, when I took over the reins, they were in trouble, and I
Mm,
was on a first name basis with the SEC. You know what
heck
that
yeah.
means as an IRS agent? That's not a good thing. It's like me being on a first name basis with you, Tristan, and you're my IRS agent. It would not be a good thing. So, you know,
We probably yeah, we would keep it a little bit more professional. Maybe you wouldn't come on my podcast, but the it's same energy, dude. Absolutely same energy. Well, in a professional IRS setting. We'll say that though. Maybe less inappropriate questions, but you know. Oh man, this has been great. Talking about all this love language stuff. I mean, so what are your love language or love languages? What are your two that you really relate to?
so it's really interesting, Tristan. You know, the whole idea of Dr. Chapman's book was to find out what you are so that you could share it with others so that they could love you. And that duty and expectation thing just did never work for me.
Mm,
I was familiar with transactions, I was familiar with accounting, was familiar with all that, and business is business. Love is different. Love is absolutely different than that. You can have love in the business situation, but it just wasn't. It's different. I found out that by reading the books, I thought, what direction am I going now?
mm,
Is it giving or is it receiving?
okay.
And it was always just very confusing to me. I read the book probably 5 times and said,
Mm,
what? You know, it was just so confusing to me in that way. So there really kind of is 10 love languages, if you will.
okay. Explain, please.
So five that you give away, five that you receive. They can be the same five, but it's just two different directions. What Dr. Chapman was talking about in his book, I believe, was mostly what you would receive. My application is totally different. It's what you send out. So
Mm,
to send out, what I like to send out is service and probably words. I like to send that out. What I like to receive is words and physical touch.
okay. All right, so words of affirmation, physical. I would say those were mine. I don't mean to just belittle the five love languages, but I just feel like acts of service is very much like you're in a grown-up relationship when like the sexiest thing someone could say is I did the dishes. Like I don't know, it's just it works. But no, I for me it has become a bit of acts of service though, but also it is also like I love physical touch, a nice hug. Oh God, a nice warm hug. That's yes, just it is the feeling. And yeah, I don't know, but I would say those two are mine, but I'm kind of excited or at least potentially looking into this program, this application, and maybe going beyond that. Like I said, kind of looking for my opportunities, that kind of stuff.
So the journal is great in that way. If you're a journal person, even if you're not, I would have loved to have a love journal from my mother or my
Mhm.
grandmother. Instead, Tristan, I got a journal about the weather. The weather 60 years ago. Who cares what the weather was like 60 years ago? Tell me what there was to love and what you did about it. So,
Okay.
so the journal that I created will show what did you roll. You can just check off. It's all pre-printed. What you rolled, what opportunities you saw to love in that way that day, and then the last part of the journal page is what did you do about those opportunities? What results did you have by loving in that way? So in essence, it becomes a love journal. I've taken this dice and testing it out in school systems, K through 6 for right now. And
Hmm.
so the whole idea, Tristan, is that at the
Interesting.
beginning of the day, you roll the dice as a class. The teacher might, it takes 2 seconds. The teacher might take 30 to 45 seconds, say, class, this is the type of love or the type of loving activities that are appropriate for today. At the end of the day, I've talked with teachers, Tristan, around the world. At the end of the day, the last 10 to 15 minutes is really non-productive time. The kids are antsy. They know the bell's going to
Because they
ring.
want to go home, but
They've been there all day. Their brains are mush, absolutely mush. So what you need in that situation is a decompression activity. Just take them down a little bit. And you could walk through it, talk them down through it with hypnosis or any other modality in that way. But I'd like to suggest that journal writing would be one of those modalities that you could take them down a notch. Just just release it, let that go, and have those kids, those 6-year-olds, those 9-year-olds, those 10-year-olds, have them report how did you love that day? When they know that they have to report at the end of the day, how do they love that day? You can be darn sure they're going to toe the mark, and they have to report and they have to hand it into the teacher. The teacher
exactly.
does a check mark, sends it home with the child, or may save it for the next day to read it in front of the class the next day and say, look what Susie did yesterday. And she reads it and just says, this is the type of things that we're looking for, class. These are the type of activities that you can do. It's gonna All the kids are gonna want to have that moment of being able to shine in front of the teacher and say, look what I did that day. Teacher does a check mark, you send it home. Those astute parents actually will catalog those journal pages, keep them in order, bind them, or if maybe at the end of the year, now what do you have? You have a love journal for that 6-year-old. You have a love journal for that 9-year-old or that third grader or that fifth grader. You have love journals of those younger years. Absolutely would have loved to have a love journal from Mrs. Rogers, my first grade teacher. I remember her name to this day because of kindness that I felt there. I wondered what it
Interesting.
was. If I could had that love journal, I could go back and look. Say, oh, I remember doing that and having those
Exactly.
feelings. I remember why I felt that way. I don't remember second, third, fourth, or fifth. I do remember sixth grade, but I would have loved to have love journals all the way through that. Think of the violence that's going on in the school system right now.
Right.
If they're focused, again, if they're focused on what's wrong with Susie, they're going to pick and pick and pick and bully and do those kind of things. If they're focused what's right with Susie, they're going to say, look how that's a lovely dress, and whatever. They're going to be doing the compliments for that person. You can't look both ways at the same time.
Exactly.
It's been said there's two-faced people out there, but be real, it's not going to work that way. If they're focused on loving all day long, there's going to be less that disciplinary action, and it takes away from teaching time. The teacher's going to have more time to teach. The students are going to be able to learn a lot more. The teacher doesn't have to be responsible as much as responsible as they are right now, nor does the principal have to be as responsible as they are right now. The kids are responsible for themselves. It took me to age 35, Tristan, to realize, oh, you mean I'm responsible for my own stuff? Because I was blaming my dad for all the things that were going wrong in my life.
Isn't it fascinating how, like, again, it's the long lessons. You're like, man, if only I freaking was taught this at a young, impressionable age. And would I was gonna say is that you said the best thing is like these teachers would be showing appropriate ways to love though. Because again, I mean, you look at the media, there's so many wrong ways to love somebody or things done in the name of love. That's definitely not love. That's transactions, that's crossing boundaries, etc. Hot topic word. Just it, it's brilliant. Like I was literally just thinking, like, oh my God, like we're starting at the best age to teach kindness. And I mean, y'all know I'm a religious man. You know I love Jesus. I love God. I'm not arguing against that. It's just that that's sometimes a barrier for people. And this is a way where it's like, hey, here's just human decency. Here's how we get that one next extra step to Star Trek, where everything's a utopia and it's yeah, just that stuff. But no, it's brilliant, man. So, how many schools have you tried or like offered this program or said, "Hey, were you interested in testing it for me?" If you don't mind me asking.
So actually, we've got four schools. One's in New York City, and the other three are local, where in the locality where I live. And there's the schools are they're as they're testing it, they're keeping track, they're keeping the journal. I've got some corporate sponsors that actually provide the dice to the school to provide the journal page. In addition to that, the only other cost there would be for a corporate sponsor is that they provide a treat. I've got a Yogurtland corporate sponsor, a franchisee of Yogurtland that will, if the child will write in the journal for 15 days of the month, it's like half the month, a little bit more than half the month because you're not going to school every single day.
You throw in the prize in there, but like, hey, we'll give you sweets.
Yeah, they get 5 ounces of yogurt for free. If they'll do it for 25 days, Tristan, that's
Okay.
the whole month.
Yes.
Never missing the whole month. They get 10 ounces of yogurt for free.
There you go.
So it's a great
And to do it for 2 months, he will give you a yogurt store, like a whole. You can do it for just straight. Like it's great. I love it.
I love some sponsors like that, Tristan. Yeah, send them my way.
You heard him, guys. You heard him. Well, speaking of sponsors, I still think it's a good idea. Look into just the mechanics or how, like the is it not trouble? No, it is trouble. I was thinking of sorry. Yeah, no. It's that little button, the game where it's like you have like a little button you press and that rolls the dice. Like you could totally have it for your love language. Just you have a cute little button, you press it down, it rolls for you. Uh, make a bunch of money. That's gonna happen. I believe in it. That will happen.
It's actually
Man,
coming, Tristan, and we've updated it from the trouble bubble. We've updated it to the love bubble, and it'll come in the form of an app. It'll be right on your phone, something you're carrying already.
let the robot take care of it.
There you
Absolutely.
go.
No, hey, that's man. This is a very. You ever kind of. I'm not overhyping it, but I'm hyping it just enough. Just like you ever like kind of think like, man, like this is happening. Like this is real and it's fun. It's exciting. I mean, how jazzed are you just about this whole ordeal?
Yeah, I really love it. I still roll it. I've had the copyright for the die itself for 7 years since 2017, and then I wrote the book. As I'm trying to market this, Tristan, I was trying first to market it to the mental health therapists, thinking that
Mm,
this would be a really great tool for them to have in their pouch, especially people that were dealing with marriages, couples that weren't seeing that love language, that very same problem that Dr. Chapman had
right.
with the couples coming in and not being able to see it, that this would open the eyes and actually up the literacy level of love. Everybody needs to notch up, get this degree, become what I like to call a love language linguist. Tristan, it's a sexy title. I know you want it. I can see it on your face.
I do. I want it.
That's exactly what you want. Everybody wants that title. Become that love language linguist. Who doesn't want to learn another language? And this is a perfect opportunity. Within 30 days, you'll actually learn all 5 love languages. 30
Do you,
days.
do you technically have that copyrighted? That love language linguist? Because that's brilliant. That's like you could get t-shirts of that. You could I don't know. It's a nice title.
Got the
I like it.
I've got the domain name. Yes.
Okay. You
Yep.
guys can't steal it.
Yep.
Not at all. This man, okay. Here's the real question. So how has it helped? I mean, I know this isn't primarily for couples, but I mean, has this changed your marriage? I mean, does your wife see like a just a huge difference though, or she just like has she kind of picked this up that she's seeing opportunities to love in different ways?
Great question, Tristan. And the way my wife participates is she watches me and
Hmm,
tries to guess what love language is he practicing today.
that's fun. That's cute.
She loves mystery books. She loves detective stories. She loves all that. So she doesn't want to, she doesn't roll it with me. She wants to discover what am I doing that day. And it just makes it fun for her.
Wonderful. But yeah, no, guys, you can see why I want to have him on here because I mean, he's got something legitimate, he's got something real, and it's something I believe in. It's something that I hope I can't be the only one. I can't be the only one that, like you said, that is just tired of seeing the minority bad news. I think what is the stupid things I've been seeing on Facebook? Haitians are eating animals. I can't. I just can't right now. Just it's we need to see a bigger kindness. Kindness needs to be go back in style again. It needs to come out again. So
I
and
don't
if
think it's
this
ever, yeah, I don't think it's ever gone out of style. It's just gone out of print.
I like that. I like that. That's exactly it.
We need to bring it back into print.
Bring it back into print, baby. That's what we're doing. That's what we're doing. Well, shoot, I might might edit this part out though. Like I've been loving the interview so far, brother. Like you've explained it beautifully. I think people have gotten it very quickly, and we talked just about your past story. Do you think there's anything that you haven't touched yet on the program, or do you want to go main to the questions now?
We can go to questions. I'm good.
Okay, you're good. Okay. Let's see. I mean, was there any of the questions I wrote down that you're kind of like, "Ah, you know, kind of that's a good one."
My wife didn't like my choice of the romantic movie, but we can do that one.
I would love. Okay, all right. I'm curious. Okay, so what was it?
So my choice of the my favorite romantic movie actually is Sound of Music. She said that's not a romantic movie, and she even Googled it. Said these are the top 35 romantic movies. It wasn't on that list, but
Okay,
the reason I like Sound of Music is because of Rodgers and Hammerstein's music portion of that. There's lyrics there that are very important lyrics, Tristan. There's two love stories going on simultaneously. There's Maria and the captain, Captain Von Trapp. They're having a little love story, but there's the oldest daughter and the little mail courier, the telegram guy, Rolf. So
Rolf.
Lisa and Rolf are in love, and they wanted to keep it secret because you know just because. Liesel's in the second story of the Von Trapp mansion. Rolf is riding his bike, and as he rides his bike up, parks his bike, and then starts singing a song. Some of the words of that song is just what I love. It says, "Love in the heart wasn't put there to stay. Love isn't love till it's given away." Classic quote that we can't, if we hold on to that love thinking that it's a scarcity or have that scarcity mentality, there'll never be an abundance of love. But
Absolutely.
as we give it away, there's greater capacity to give it away. And so I absolutely love that
You
for
can't
romantic.
hoard love. You can't just
You can't be a love hoarder. Nope.
nope. You just
Nope.
can't. And you know what? I will debate your wife. I think that can be a romantic movie because I mean, besides just that couple loving though. I mean, isn't the whole movie that they're kind of outrunning the Nazis or like they're outrunning like
Mhm.
Nazi occupied Germany?
Right.
Exactly. No, it's what better way to outrun hate is with love as they're trying to literally escape and trying to be together as a family. And then I think they start singing in musicals. That's how they get out there, just become music. I've actually
Yeah.
technically never seen The Sound of Music, so I
Oh yeah.
apologize. I'm a
No,
poser.
you're spot on. You're exactly right how that goes.
Beautiful. Okay. No, it's man, that's I think that's a lovely choice. Well, what's your wife's answer if you asked her this question?
Love Actually was one of the ones that she said.
I forgot which that one it was though. I'm a sucker for. Okay,
Ghost,
Love Actually. That's a good one. Of
Ghost,
course, the Christmas movie. There you
yeah,
go.
Ghost was another one that was in there.
Ghost, great choice. Excellent. Can't ever make pottery the same way again. It's just too sexy. Oh, there's look, what is it though? I'm thinking about it. It was, did I say Moulin Rouge?
Moulin Rouge is in there. Yeah,
Okay, no,
that's in it. That's
huge
in.
fan. Beautiful movie. Love that movie. Just, oh God, it's the ending was just so sad, but also just like, I don't know, the music, the swelling music, every single song was about love. It was beautiful. And gosh, I've never technically seen When Harry Met Sally. Never seen that. I don't know if you consider that very, very good.
I thought that was interesting. I mean, it was just it's just interesting how, but I like that because people meet in really different circumstances, but it's almost like they're destined to meet. And I thought When Harry Met Sally was one of those movies that it really was different circumstances that almost would never have met any other way.
No,
You
yeah.
know, my wife and I met in a very similar way, playing pickleball. You know, we're
Mm.
back to pickleball again. That I was single, a little over 7 years ago, and went to a place that they were playing pickleball and it was just a 24 court complex. It's quite big in the area where I'm at. So it was a single adult type group that we were with, and she saw me from somewhere else. I was clueless that she was working up to try to play on the court.
That's you know it's real. Is you never saw her coming, but she clocked you. She clocked you real quick.
She got on, finally got onto the court where I'm at, and then a week before that, Tristan, I'd been playing with this same singles group, and she wasn't there a week before. But while I'm playing, one of the people there said, "We don't play like that." Like I was hitting it too hard, I was slamming it, or I was doing something that they didn't like, and they say, "We don't play like that." Well, when I played the next week, she says it to me, says, "That was a mean shot." And I'm thinking that same line from the Last Supper, Tristan. I'm thinking, Lord, is it I? Is it me? Is it really me? Am I that mean?
I just throwing
And
too much heat here. Like,
And so I thought, well, I've got to tone it down or something. And a few days later, I saw her at a different event that I went to, a different singles event. And when I bumped into her, I realized that she was saying that that was a great shot when she was
oh,
saying that was a mean shot. Instead, I took it totally different. Than I'm thinking, here I am being mean again. We don't play like that. And I thought, well, and then her friend told me that she was very interested in, and we started dating and actually ended up marrying that girl. Met on a pickleball court. It's
and then
interesting
marry her
too.
anyway.
It was interesting too that her parents actually met on a tennis court.
God, so your guys' kids, if you guys, I mean, you know, you're kind of you're getting there, but I mean, like, you think maybe, again, if the Lord blesses thee, or you're like, absolutely not, no more children.
No, no, we're past the age of childbearing. But what's so interesting is her mother had just passed away like a year before we met of
Hmm.
cancer, and before she passed away, uh, my current wife had to reassure her mother that she was going to be okay, that she'd find someone, or that she gave her permission that when you're on the other side, you look around and you help me find someone. And it's just almost serendipitous how we met on a pickleball court, very similar to a tennis court. I wouldn't be playing tennis. I don't play tennis, but I play pickleball, and it was just kind of an interesting way that maybe there was some influence from the other side that put us together
Absolutely.
in that circumstance.
I was kind of thinking just like the whole like that what again in this situation, your kids are the next line are going to meet on whatever the virtual like equivalent of tennis pickleball. It's going to be some weird game that uses electronic crap. I don't know, but that's how we're going to meet. And it was meant to be, man. It was in the DNA, it was in the blood, just like as we were supposed to meet this. And just thank you, man. This has been so lovely kind of getting to see this. I can see very much why you were the popular one. I can very much see it though. This has been just a blast, really. Kind of like talking about this and hearing about like your story and how you met your wife. So thank you again, Paul.
Absolutely. You're very kind, Tristan. Thank you. It's really been my pleasure to have this conversation with you.
Oh
Loved
no,
it.
it's man, and you haven't we haven't really got a chance to know each other that much though, but there was I don't know, so my story, if you don't know, is that I'm from California and we moved up during the pandemic to Oregon. We had no friends, no family up here, not even technical jobs. It's very much a leap of faith. We're like, hey, California's getting too expensive. We're not growing here. That we decided to check that out, but it it was scary. It was hard making new friends, but we just eventually just found the right people. And it's just there's just something about finding your tribe that like it literally it's the medicine for your soul you didn't know you needed. It's like it man, it to think like I had to go all the way there to go to those dark places to not have love, to be sitting here having a podcast with you talking about this though. It's like it is serendipitous, it is perfect. It is just I don't know, this has been rad and I really do hope that dude, your thing's gonna get big. It's I mean, you already got a couple schools practicing it though. I mean, I just can't imagine like especially introducing this at a love young age. I mean, this could stop bullying. This could help with the school shooting problem, which is an awful sentence to say that I can't believe I have to say that. But oh man, like I'm sorry, I bit went on a tangent. I'm just like I'm just kind of thinking about just all this though. It's cool. I mean, it's cool for this, not the school shooting. Oh man.
Thank you, Tristan. I really believe that too, and I believe that it's gonna this is going to happen. Somebody's going to come up with some other products, some other tools that will help in that regard. And they have some people. There's people that have a kindness university or a kindness revolution that they're starting. They're naming a lot of different things, trying to get it into the school system. There's really nothing like this. This is nothing that they can take with them to the next level. When these children will learn the love languages, they're going to be more emotionally set for life than the ones that are coming out of the schools right now.
Exactly.
They're going to have that broad base of understanding of when they're being loved and when love is being sent out to them. They'll more easily recognize what's not love. You know, I haven't showed this to you, but I went out walking a while back and found this walking stick. It's about 3.5 feet long. It came without the bark. One side of the stick is very smooth and nice. The other side of the stick has some pointy things on it.
That's a
It's
cool stick.
I
That's
call
a
this
really cool stick.
the knots. This is the naughty side of the stick, and this is the nice side of the stick. Santa Claus has a stick just like that, Tristan. And so when you understand the spectrum, you can take if you can name any behavior that you're practicing right now, put it on the spectrum. Is it on the naughty side of the spectrum or is it on the nice side of the spectrum? Take, for example, sarcasm, naughty or nice. Most people would say it's on the naughty side of the spectrum.
Yeah,
Well, then what would be the opposite? When you can explore what the opposite might be and put it all on the table, what are you going to choose? The opposite would be somebody that's genuine, not sarcastic, but genuine.
right.
Somebody that's authentic, somebody that's true blue. Now put all four of those descriptions on the table. What will you choose? That's that when you can name it, you can tame it. You can find out where it fits on the spectrum and where you want to go. You can't do that until you find out and name it.
Absolutely.
And you can't set goals because what you're doing is you could blame everybody else. Blame exonerates you from making any change in your life. It is just almost like what I would call a false atonement. it doesn't change you one bit to
Yeah,
blame someone else.
it
And you
doesn't.
don't have to change. It's their fault. Go talk to them. They're the ones to blame. And when you do that, it's that victim mentality, and it's not going to enact change. Those are the people that are successful with rolling the dice. Those that can't take that responsibility are the ones that aren't having the better success.
They're just
So
not
we're
going to learn.
trying to teach these children responsibility, teach them to take their responsibility for their own actions.
No,
It's going to be
it's
huge.
brilliant. It's brilliant. And I mean, one more time, the website for everybody so they can check this out.
It's roleoflove.com, ROLE of love.com.
We're gonna make sure we include it in the description, guys. I cannot recommend this enough just to try it out. You have me on Facebook, guys. You'll check it out. I'll be posting kind of if I've seen any changes in my life or if I noticed it helped me in my relationships, again, whether it was at work or at the house or with my friends. I think this is a call to action for kindness. Like this is something that needs to be, I don't know, effort needs to be put out there. Like this is a difficult game. It's only going to get more difficult, and let's do something about it. So yeah, that's what I'm going to say. That's what I'm suggesting. I I had an idea or a question, but I'm terribly sorry. I forgot what it was. I think I might end on this final question that I wrote down. What's something people get wrong about love?
Great question, Tristan. I think that one of the things that people get wrong about love that it's all ends in sex. This is totally it's not totally, but it's mostly not that kind of love. This what the love we're talking about is decency toward your fellow men, and it hardly ever will involve sex. It'll be sex when it's appropriate, when it's an appropriate situation for it, but it hardly ever will involve that. It's just focusing on the good things that people are doing, focusing and bringing that to light. And when you compare and put it on the spectrum, light versus darkness, you're going to want to be on the light side. You're going to want to be on the side where you're bringing sunshine to their heart and soul. That's what we're talking about. That's if people are bringing darkness to another person, that's where they're getting love wrong. And when they're violating the rights of another person, that's where they're getting love wrong. The just sending it out without any regard of it ever coming back, but sending it out appropriately is the best thing that we can do. We really need to get back to that. We almost need to redefine love from what people think of it today. And I think that's where we got it wrong. We've been trained by the movies to think that, well, it happens in an hour, that's love. It's really not. Really,
Happens in an hour. It happens during sex. It happens when transactions are placed. It's like I said, we need to take it back. We need to redefine
Mhm,
it. It's
exactly.
been snatched from us, and that's what we're gonna do, everybody. Well, I just seriously, I hope we can stay in touch. This has been just especially considering this is like one of the few episodes I did to kind of get back into the podcasting thing. Like you were a great guest, and I love you, man.
Love you too, Tristan. Thank you so much for asking me to be on your show. It's been really a pleasure.
Back at you guys. Oh, okay, just kidding. Final topic before we end it, because I think unfortunately our love somehow is running out, or we need to recharge. I think yeah, we need a journal. So we're gonna be ending this episode soon. Favorite love songs. I know I write that down, but I was just like, oh man, I gotta miss that one. That's perfect.
Favorite love songs. It's funny that you say that because the first thing that came to mind was Puppy Love, and it's not really a favorite, but it's something that we're starting out with little things that we do for one another that almost feel and seem like puppy love. When you climb out of that rut, like I was trying to climb out of that rut of that criticism, it really was a rut, and there's almost an imposter syndrome there, Tristan, that you don't feel normal there. You don't feel comfortable there. You're out of the box. You're out of, and to think out of the box is one thing, to act out of the box is a lot harder than thinking out of the box. Seriously, a lot
Amen.
harder. So, and you'll feel a little trepidation as you're trying to step and trying to do those little puppy love type things out of the box. Puppy love is what we're trying to will help you get out of the box. It'll absolutely grow up to be big dog love. Happy things will happen. That's what puppies do. They become big dogs.
You just need to start.
You
You
need
had to
to
start with the
start.
puppy, get that big dog love. I know we went from music to movies to music. I'll go back to the movie. I'll end it with this. I think one of my favorite like love story or movies about love is, have you seen Uncle Buck?
I haven't seen that movie.
Oh my God, please watch it. It is just the cutest, most beautiful movie. It's John Candy, big old guy.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. He plays this kind of bachelor tomcat Uncle Buck who bowls and he smokes cigars and maybe he gambles on the side. His brother's wife, her dad dies. They have to leave the kids. No one can watch the kid. Babysitter's gone. They call Uncle Buck, and he's just this big force that just covers his family in love. And like, I'm not gonna spoil the movie, but it's just like there's a relationship with one of the nieces and the uncle where she's just so rude and nasty to him. And he keeps coming back. He's like, hey, like, I want to protect you. I want to make sure you're making smart choices. I care about you. You are family, and it is. I will challenge you to watch. I'll challenge everyone to watch it and tell me that's not a movie about love, because it is. It's kind of love I would be like, yeah, I want somebody like this in my lane. I want somebody like this to. I can't spoil it, but there's a scene with a giant pancake. It's just I want those pancakes, and that's what we're gonna end it on is pancakes, everybody. The food of love. Guys, I've been Tristan, this has been Paul, and this has been another ordinary person with an extraordinary story. Love you guys. And we're done.
Ordinary people, extraordinary stories. The show is now over. It's time to get yo. Ordinary people, extraordinary stories. Time for shut eye. Get your ass to the story. Yeah. Ordinary people, extraordinary stories. Trishy went to bed, but Truggy's still flowing. Ordinary people, extraordinary stories. The lights are going off, this microphone I'm throwing. You know it.
Thanks everybody for listening to another episode of Ordinary People Extraordinary Stories. If you're interested in supporting the channel, please click the description below to look into our Patreon. I want to give a shout out to our exclusive patrons who've been donating to the channel. Again, I want to give a shout out to Courtney, Tamsin, and Richie. Without your help, we wouldn't be able to make these fine episodes, so thank you again. And for anyone else that's listening that believes they or they know somebody who has a very extraordinary story to tell, please feel free to email me at OPESpodcast@gmail.com. That's OPES, acronym for Ordinary People Extraordinary Stories, OPES, podcast, one word, @gmail.com. I'm looking forward to hearing from you, and again, thanks for listening, guys. Take care.